found himself being hunted by a great white shark, and he caught it all on camera. Check it.
Our story begins in late 2003 off the rugged coastline of Western Australia. The Pacific Ocean stretches endlessly, its depths hiding secrets we're only beginning to understand. Dr. Sarah Mitchell and her research team are conducting what should be a straightforward study. They're tagging great white sharks to understand their migration patterns, their feeding behaviors, their mysterious lives beneath the waves. It's dangerous work, but routine work. The shark they designate as Alpha is a beautiful specimen, a 9-foot female, healthy, powerful, everything you'd expect from nature's perfect killing machine. The team attaches a sophisticated tracking device to her dorsal fin. This isn't just any tag, it's packed with sensors that record water temperature, depth, movement patterns, even the shark's exact location. The plan is simple. Let Alpha swim free for 4 months, then the tag automatically detaches, floats to the surface, and beams its data to satellites. Scientists have done this thousands of times before, but this time would be different. For weeks, Alpha behaves exactly as predicted. She cruises the southern coastline, diving deep, surfacing to hunt, following the ancient patterns encoded in her DNA. The researchers watch her digital breadcrumbs with satisfaction. Another successful tagging mission. Then, on a crisp morning in March 2004, something extraordinary happens. The tag pops up on a remote Australian beach right on schedule. Dr. Mitchell and her team rush to retrieve it, expecting routine behavioral data. What they find instead stops them cold. The data doesn't make sense. It can't make sense. According to the sensors, something impossible has occurred. Their apex predator, their unstoppable great white shark, has been eaten alive. Let me paint you a picture of what those scientists saw when they downloaded that data. Imagine weeks of normal shark behavior, steady temperatures around 46 degrees Fahrenheit, predictable diving patterns, the rhythmic life of an ocean predator. Then, in a single moment, everything changes. The temperature sensor spikes dramatically, from 46 degrees to 78 degrees Fahrenheit in seconds. That's not just unusual, it's physically impossible in open ocean water. The only explanation? Alpha's tag has been swallowed by something warm-blooded, something big enough to engulf a 9-foot shark. But that's not the most terrifying part. Immediately after the temperature spike, the depth sensor records something that makes seasoned marine biologists question everything they know. The tag plunges nearly 1,900 feet straight down into the abyss. Not the gentle drift of a dead shark sinking, not the erratic movement of scavenging fish. This is purposeful, controlled, predatory. For the next several days, the tag continues to move through the dark waters, carried in the belly of whatever consumed Alpha. The movement patterns are deliberate, methodical, the signature of a massive predator going about its business as if eating a great white shark was just another Tuesday. Dr. Mitchell stares at her computer screen in disbelief. In her 20 years of shark research, she's never seen anything like this. Her team runs the data again and again, looking for equipment malfunction, human error, anything that could explain the impossible. The numbers don't lie. Something in the ocean is big enough, powerful enough, and hungry enough to swallow great white sharks whole. The question that haunts them: what could possibly do this? Word of the discovery spreads quickly through the marine biology community. Conferences buzz with speculation. Research papers are hastily written. Everyone wants to solve the mystery of what ate Alpha. The first theory seems to come straight from a nightmare. What if there's an unknown sea monster lurking in Australian waters? Something prehistoric, undiscovered, massive beyond imagination. The public imagination runs wild. Could it be a surviving megalodon, the prehistoric giant shark thought extinct for millions of years? Some internet forums explode with theories about 60-foot monster sharks prowling the depths. Cryptozoology enthusiasts point to blurry sonar readings and claim vindication. But Dr. Mitchell and her team are scientists, not storytellers. They need evidence, not myths. They begin methodically examining every possibility. Could it be a colossal squid? These deep-sea giants can grow enormous, but they don't have the warm-blooded physiology to explain the temperature spike. Giant octopi? Same problem. An unknown species of whale? Possible, but the movement patterns don't match any known cetacean behavior. As the team eliminates one theory after another, they're forced to confront more realistic but equally disturbing possibilities. If it's not a mythical sea monster, then what they're dealing with is something far more terrifying. A real predator living in Earth's oceans right now, capable of treating great white sharks like snack food. The documentary crew following their research captures the exact moment when Dr. Mitchell realizes the scope of what they've discovered. Her face goes pale as she tells the camera, "We always assumed great whites were at the top of the food chain. We might have been wrong." That single statement would change everything. The breakthrough comes when marine biologist Dr. James Harrison joins the investigation. He brings with him decades of research into shark behavior, including a dark secret that most people don't know. Sharks are cannibals. People think of sharks as these noble apex predators, Dr. Harrison explains to the documentary cameras. The truth is much more brutal. Sharks have been eating each other for millions of years. The evidence is overwhelming. Sand tiger shark embryos consume their siblings in the womb. Bull sharks attack smaller sharks regularly. Even great whites have been observed cannibalizing their own kind. But this case is different. This isn't opportunistic feeding or territorial aggression. This is systematic predation by something massive enough to swallow a 9-foot shark in one piece. Dr. Harrison runs the calculations. To consume alpha whole, the predator would need to be at least 16 to 20 feet long. A truly colossal great white shark. The team begins calling it the submarine because of its massive size and stealth capabilities. The temperature data supports this theory perfectly. Great white sharks are regionally endothermic. They can warm their bodies to aid digestion and maintain energy. The 78-degree temperature recorded by Alpha's tag matches exactly what you'd find inside a large great white stomach. The diving behavior also fits. Large great whites are known for dramatic vertical migrations, plunging thousands of feet into the deep ocean. The recorded 1,900-foot dive is well within the capabilities of a massive adult shark. But the most chilling realization is how the attack happened. Alpha showed no signs of distress, no erratic escape behavior before disappearing. The predator struck with such speed and precision that its victim never knew what hit it. This wasn't just predation, it was an execution carried out by a master of its craft. Just as the cannibalistic shark theory gains momentum, another possibility emerges that captures global attention. Orcas. Killer whales are having a moment in marine biology. New research is revealing them as sophisticated predators capable of taking down great white sharks with surgical precision. In 2017, 5 great white sharks wash up on South African beaches, each missing their liver, removed with almost medical accuracy. The culprits? 2 orcas nicknamed Port and Starboard, whose methods are as terrifying as they are intelligent. They flip great whites upside down to induce tonic immobility, a paralyzed state, then surgically remove the liver, the most nutritious organ, before discarding the rest. Dr. Sarah Chen, a leading orca researcher, presents compelling evidence to the documentary crew. Orcas are not just hunters, she explains, they're tacticians. They've learned that shark livers are packed with nutrients, and they've developed specific techniques to harvest them. The orca theory gains credibility when researchers discover that great whites flee entire regions when killer whales appear. In False Bay, South Africa, the mere presence of port and starboard causes mass shark evacuations lasting months. Could orcas have been responsible for Alpha's disappearance? The predator is certainly big enough, intelligent enough, and aggressive enough. For weeks, this theory dominates scientific discussion and media coverage, but then the data analysis reveals troubling inconsistencies that force researchers to reconsider everything. The more closely scientists examine Alpha's case, the more the orca theory falls apart. The temperature readings are wrong. Orcas have core body temperatures around 100 degrees Fahrenheit, but Alpha's tag recorded only 78 degrees. If she'd been inside an orca, the temperature should have been much higher. The behavior is wrong. Orcas don't swallow sharks whole. They surgically remove specific organs and leave the carcass behind. But Alpha completely disappeared, leaving no trace. The location is wrong. The tag recorded a rapid dive to 1,900 feet, but orcas typically hunt in shallow coastal waters. Their lung-based breathing system limits their deep-sea activity. Most damning of all, other great whites in the area didn't flee after Alpha's disappearance. When orcas hunt sharks, it causes panic evacuations. But the Australian sharks remained in their territory, suggesting they weren't afraid of killer whales. Dr. Mitchell faces the documentary cameras with a mix of frustration and fascination. Every time we think we have an answer, the data says otherwise. Whatever killed Alpha, it didn't behave like any known predator. The team is back to square one, but with a crucial insight. They're not looking for an unusual predator using familiar methods. They're looking for a familiar predator using methods nobody has ever documented. With the orca theory debunked, researchers return to their most chilling conclusion. Alpha was killed by one of her own kind, but not just any great white shark, a monster of unprecedented size and aggression. The team begins calling their suspect the submarine, a ghost shark lurking in the deep waters off Australia, large enough to swallow other great whites whole, intelligent enough to hunt with perfect stealth, and dominant enough to rule its territory without challenge. Estimating the submarine's size based on the evidence, researchers conclude it must be at least 20 feet long, possibly larger. That would make it one of the biggest great white sharks ever to exist. Weighing over 5,000 pounds and armed with jaws capable of crushing a smaller shark in a single bite. But the submarine's most terrifying trait isn't its size, it's its method. Alpha never saw the attack coming. No struggle, no escape attempt, no distress signals, just a lightning-fast ambush that ended in seconds. Dr. Harrison describes the attack to the documentary crew. Imagine a creature so large, so perfectly adapted to its environment that it can approach a 9-foot great white shark completely undetected. That level of stealth in something so massive is almost supernatural. The implications are staggering. If the submarine exists, how many others like it patrol the deep waters? How many shark disappearances previously blamed on fishing or natural death were actually predation events? Most chilling of all, if great white sharks aren't safe from their own kind, what does that mean for everything else in the ocean? The search for the submarine becomes an obsession. Dr. Mitchell's team returns to Australian waters with advanced sonar equipment, underwater cameras, and a determination to find their ghost shark. The ocean doesn't give up its secrets easily. They scan thousands of square miles of deep water, analyze countless sonar signatures, investigate every anomalous reading. The documentary cameras capture their frustration as day after day passes without concrete evidence. But they find traces, massive bite marks on whale carcasses that suggest predators larger than any officially recorded great white. Sonar contacts that appear and vanish like phantoms. Local fishermen share stories of enormous shadows moving beneath their boats in deep water. Most intriguingly, they discover other tag anomalies, cases where tracked sharks simply vanished, their devices showing brief temperature spikes before going dark. The pattern suggests the submarine, or creatures like it, may be responsible for more disappearances than anyone realized. Dr. Chen, the Orca researcher, joins the expedition and is struck by what they don't find. In areas where we know orcas hunt sharks, we see clear behavioral changes in the ecosystem, she explains. But here, it's like the sharks are living under a reign of terror they can't even identify. The team begins to understand they're hunting a perfect predator, one that strikes without warning, leaves no survivors, and vanishes into the abyss like it was never there. News of the submarine spreads far beyond the scientific community. Social media explodes with theories, debates, and more than a little fear. If something that big and aggressive exists in Australian waters, what's swimming off other coastlines? Marine parks around the world report increased visitor interest in shark exhibits, but also heightened anxiety among swimmers and surfers. Beach communities along the Australian coast see tourism dip as people reconsider their ocean activities. The documentary Hunt for the Super Predator premieres to massive viewership, sparking global conversation about ocean mysteries and the limits of human knowledge. Marine biology programs see enrollment surge as young people become fascinated by the idea of undiscovered apex predators. Conservation groups seize on the story to highlight how little we know about ocean ecosystems. We've explored less than 5% of our oceans, explains Dr. Patricia Williams, a marine conservationist. Stories like the submarine remind us that the deep sea remains Earth's final frontier. But the public reaction isn't just fascination, it's fear. Online forums buzz with theories about other submarine sharks lurking near popular beaches. Some coastal communities report increased shark sightings, though whether this represents actual population changes or heightened awareness is unclear. The story resonates because it challenges a fundamental assumption that we understand the ocean's top predators. The possibility that 20-foot cannibalistic sharks patrol the deep waters, occasionally rising to claim smaller great whites as prey, forces us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about marine ecosystems. Years later, the submarine remains a ghost. Despite ongoing research, advanced technology, and countless hours of searching, no one has definitively identified Alpha's killer. The ocean has kept its secret. But the impact of that single tracking tag continues to ripple through marine science. Researchers now know to look for predation patterns they previously ignored. Tagging programs include new protocols designed to detect unusual disappearances. The possibility of supersized cannibalistic great whites has become an accepted part of shark research. Dr. Mitchell, now leading a global initiative to study apex predator interactions, reflects on the case that changed her career. Alpha taught us that the ocean still has the power to surprise us. Somewhere out there, in the deep waters we've barely explored, creatures exist that challenge everything we think we know about marine life. The search continues. New expeditions launch regularly, armed with better technology and deeper understanding of shark behavior. Citizen scientists contribute sightings and sonar data. The hunt for the submarine has evolved into something larger, a quest to understand the hidden hierarchies that govern our oceans. Perhaps most importantly, Alpha's story reminds us of our place in the natural world. For all our technology and knowledge, the ocean remains vast, mysterious, and humbling. In its deepest waters, ancient rules still apply. Rules written in teeth and blood, played out in darkness far from human eyes. The great white shark may be an apex predator, but as Alpha's fate proved, even apex predators must look over their shoulders. In the ocean, there's always something bigger, always something hungrier, always something waiting in the deep. The submarine is still out there, and it's still hunting. What do you think happened to Alpha? Was it a massive cannibalistic great white, an unknown predator, or something else entirely? Share your theories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more mysteries from the deep. The ocean keeps its secrets well, but with your help, we'll keep searching for answers. Until next time, remember, the next time you look out at the ocean, something might be looking back.